I don't know, vice premier
It's
or
not
whatever they call it.
Yeah, it's not
Prime
the
Minister.
vice, but it's kind of like the parliamentary head.
Right.
And so anyway,
It's
she
called
was
communism.
so she was headed for the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't go because there was a warrant for her arrest.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Are you talking about Golda Meir, or are you talking about right now?
Right now.
Okay, I'm not.
Now. Well, they had a warrant for their arrest for their genocidal attack on Palestine.
Right.
Lebanon, I guess. Actually.
Rightfully so. Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so they wouldn't go into the UK, and now they're fighting to get those arrest warrants removed for genocide against humanity. And now a lot of these, like her and President of Israel, are having to be very delicate about where they go in the world.
Exactly.
Now,
the world is beginning to catch on to what these people really are and who they really are. Okay?
Now, a lot of people would say, well, that's prophetic that these people, or people, were going to be ganged up on. You know, the Judeo-Christian religions, the established church, is saying, oh, well, they don't know who they are, and so they're going to wake up and knowing that Jesus is really their leader.
No, that ain't going to happen.
What else?
Right. That's not going to happen.
I won't get into it, but anyway, I want to hear more of the application of some of these scriptures to Israel, which really would then be what you were just saying. European, Anglo-Saxon world is actually who the prophecies then would be about.
The true Israelites are the Anglo-Saxon Caucasian people. Okay,
and that matches all these other, that matches white men showing up on other continents as the leaders.
That's right, and we will be a blessing to the world. It's our technology, it's our sanitation, our art, our culture. It's Anglo-Saxon, white Anglo-Saxon culture that has been a blessing to the world. The Jews have not been a blessing to the world. The Jews are the Khazars and the Edomites of ancient history, and they have been a curse.
And so what is it then, Eli, about them that causes them to behave this way?
Okay, well, the Bible says
I know we've talked about it, but go ahead and review that.
Well, the Bible says thou art greatly despised when it talks to the Edomite nation. Okay, here, maybe I should just turn to the book of Obadiah, another book which is utterly ignored by both the Jews. Now, you'd think the Jews would, teach from the book of Obadiah because they claim that they wrote the Old Testament, right? So this should be their book. They don't teach from the book of Daniel either. Most synagogues put a cloth over the book of Daniel because they don't like the prophecy of the Messiah that's contained in the book of Daniel. Okay.
Don't even like the prophecy.
No.
Well, that's the future tense. If you still believe it's to come, that would still be future. That's kind of silly.
Right.
I mean,
but of course. Yeah.
Doesn't even make sense, does it?
Well, but Jesus Christ fulfilled, at least 200 prophecies from the Old Testament. Okay? And no other human being has ever fulfilled a single one besides him. Okay? The Old Testament prophesied that he would be born in a town called Bethlehem. Okay? That he would be born of a virgin, that he would be known as the Nazarene. Okay? I mean,
so they probably really did know who he was.
Of course they did.
And they didn't want him to ruin their good thing going, I guess.
Right. Well, as I said, the priesthood that had usurped authority during the days of Herod are the Pharisees. Okay? And here's another aspect of the Bible that none of your Judeo-Christian ministers teach. That Jesus Christ never failed to condemn the scribes and Pharisees whenever he confronted them. Okay? So before before I go, I've got the book of Obadiah here, but I want to verify the fact that Jesus Christ condemned these scribes and Pharisees, and this is extremely important for every Christian to understand. You have to know who these scribes and Pharisees are. They're still in the world today. Their religion is called Judaism. Okay? Matthew chapter 23. And he says to the scribes and Pharisees, this is Matthew 23 verse 3. I'm just going to keep reading here because this is about what we know as Judaism today. All therefore whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do. And he was talking about the fact that they sat in Moses' seat, which, Farrar Fenton, he says they have usurped Moses' seat, okay, because he understood what was going on, okay. But do you not after their works, for they say and do not. They're hypocrites, okay. They're pretenders, okay. This is what all four Gospels teach this. Every last author of the four Gospels teaches that these scribes and Pharisees are hypocrites and imposters.
So,
but you're not going to hear this. Go ahead. You're not going to hear this in your weekend church service.
Well,
because they're teaching you the exact opposite.
And Catholics wouldn't either, because they call Tony from Chicago to set up a mafia meeting occasionally for the two to talk, right?
Right.
So we established who they are, but why is it that they always just can't seem to be nice people? In a minute, we're going to take a break here, and in a minute, I'm going to have Eli cover.
Yeah.
I could give you their. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll provide their genealogy. I'll provide you their genealogy. Okay.
And so with this then, and if it isn't clear, we'll have him explain, what their characteristics of behavior might be that and why they have these characteristics.
Right.
And then, we'll get into some more prophetic stuff. We've got some pretty nasty things when you start looking in Revelations. Revelation or a lot of other prophetic announcements from all over the world.
Right.
When you read a lot of ancient tablets and manuscripts, it seems like it's the same story about the same kind of nasty stuff from aliens that are not having the best
pretending. That are pretending to be humans. We went into this last time, with the fallen angels, and how the Edomites and Canaanites are related to those fallen angels of Genesis chapter 6.
And so they showed up somewhere and set up shop and said, "Let's take over." I would assume.
Yeah. They took over. They moved to the Promised Land because it was a lush territory at the time. Okay, and some of them escaped, because Gath was a giant. The whole tribe of Gath was a tribe of giants, and Goliath was one of their descendants.
And Goliath had brothers.
And he had brothers. Exactly.
Okay, well, we're going to stop here. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. Okay, and then, I just want to, before we take our break, I just wanted to refer to John chapter 7, where Jesus has a confrontation with the scribes and Pharisees, okay, where they have already determined to kill him, okay, not the Romans, the scribes and Pharisees, okay. The Romans didn't kill Christ. The scribes and Pharisees did. The rabbis, the Jewish rabbis of the day, okay. And it says, let me back up to verse 51. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If any man eat of this bread, he shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. Okay, so he's going to give his body, his physical body. Verse 52, the Jews therefore strove among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh to eat? Okay, so they didn't understand what he was saying. Okay, verse 53, then Jesus said to them, verily, verily, I say to you, except you eat of the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you have no life in you. And you have to be part of his genetic material. You have to share the same genetics. That's what he's telling